Request that we all be seated. Yes. Sure. Morning. No, we can sit and interpret. Yeah, sure.
South Africa, born 30 years ago as a new nation, united and free from apartheid. A great wave of global solidarity of the peoples of the world, led by the United Nations, championed our freedom. Today, South Africa is a flourishing democracy, a multicultural and diverse nation. We are Africa's most industrialized economy, a country of breathtaking beauty. Our greatest strength is our people. We remain rooted in our African identity, but fully integrated into the global community of nations. We are a country that fights for peace and justice. We are honored to lead the Group of 20 from 1 December 2024. South Africa is committed to multilateralism with United Nations at its center. South Africa's vision is a world that is people-centered, development-orientated, and inclusive. A community of nations that leaves no one behind. This dictum is rooted in the African philosophy of Ubuntu. We have thus chosen the theme, Solidarity, Equality, Sustainability for our G20 presidency. Guided by our theme, we will use our G20 presidency to refocus global attention on the social, economic, and environmental dimensions of development in the economies of Africa and the global South. This includes a focus on critical issues such as inequality, employment, food security, and artificial intelligence. The symbol of our G20 presidency is the magnificent King Protea, our national flower.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we all rise as the procession enters the venue. That is our entourage, led by the Honorable Minister and our MECs. I would request that we remain standing until we have actually sung the national anthem. And now we can proceed with the singing of the national anthem. Thank you. We may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great privilege to preside over the Free State Provincial Education Indaba for the G20. As we all know that South Africa has assumed the presidency of the G20. Provinces were expected to host their own G20 Indabas. And the Free State chose this day, and we believe that in terms of what is prepared today, indeed, this is the day the Lord has made. We would love to advise that we have chosen 3 topics, and we have amassed resource experts relevant to each topic. The first topic that we have taken, Honorable Minister and MECs, is quality foundational learning. And the second topic is education, professional development. These 2 topics are very key for the Free State because we believe that pedagogically they give us a nudge in the right direction, and they are actually navigating our strategy of investing early in education. The theme for this session will be educational professionals for solidarity, equality, and sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a two-phased program. The first program will be more of a formal program, which I will chair, and the second phase of the program will be more of panel discussions. And having said that, I think we can relax and brace ourselves for quality engagements and actually inputs from various resource experts. I can't wait. Having said that, it gives me a great privilege to request the Vice Chancellor Academic of the Central University of Technology, Professor Ngidi, to come and render opening address and welcome all of us in this August House. Can we give Professor Ngidi a big round of applause?
Thank you, Program Director, Advocate Malekwane. Before we delve into the program, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the Minister of Basic Education, Ms. Harube, and in absentia, the Free State Premier of the Province, McQueen Lisokam Matai, MSc for the Free State Department of Education, Dr. Mabuya, members of the Executive Council present, traditional leaders present, executive mayors present, head of the Department of Education, Advocate Malekwane, who's the Program Director, representatives from the G20 states, members of the Senior Management Services, and officials from the Provincial Department of Education, officials from the Basic Department of Education, and representatives from the business to the Free State, G20 Education in Indaba, and please allow me to say all protocol observed. Thank you for gracing us with your presence today. I also extend a warm welcome to our guest speakers and thank them for honoring us by speaking later in this Indaba to share their perspectives on their respective topics. We look forward to the debates and presentations that will be made. And as the Central University of Technology Free State, which is CUT, we are committed to supporting the Department of Education and its contribution to the upcoming G20 Summit, which is focusing on the two official priorities, as already mentioned, quality foundational learning and education professional development for a changing world. This Indaba is a platform for global development. This Indaba is a platform for global collaboration, a significant opportunity for us to share and learn from international best practices in education, but at the same time, to exchange our own. Your participation in this provincial initiative is crucial and greatly appreciated. Today, we are supporting the Department of Education in full recognition of the long-term benefits our contribution holds for the future of education in the province. This is not just a short-term gain, but a strategic investment that we believe will yield long-term benefits, bringing us closer to our shared goals of achieving these two fundamental priorities that I have already alluded to. As a university, we have our own unique way of doing things, our own distinct practices and thoughts. Our approach to knowledge creation, one of our key pillars, is not just about discovery, but it's also about application and impact that we make. The concept of innovation is deeply engraved in our beliefs, and this stems from our understanding of the role of CUT as a university of technology. Where our focus is more on applied research than on basic research. If you visit our faculties, you will gain a better sense of the intellectual products and inventions that CUT constantly produces. Program Director, it is a well-known fact that South African education is faced with numerous challenges that have resulted in school learners not being sufficiently prepared for higher education. This is why CUT is eager to engage and encourage new ideas and constructive engagements as an engaged university. Furthermore, the South African economy faces skills shortages, a challenge that we at CUT are committed to address. This requires a concerted effort to address the educational challenges across all aspects of the schooling system, which in turn has a significant impact on the school management team, educators, and the learners. These circumstances undoubtedly demand that we develop a focused intervention strategy to empower our schools to meet the general high demands prevalent at CUT and other institutions of higher learning. To the Honorable Minister, there is a great need for equitable educational practices and actionable solutions to support such learners to create a more inclusive learning environment. They are an essential part of our response strategy to the challenges inherent in our schools. We also need to grasp with the importance of investing in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics as our niche areas. Given that we are a university of technology, our enrollment has the largest proportion of students in these priority areas. And our ambition is to reach 50% of our enrollment in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so that we contribute to the development of future engineers, entrepreneurs, technologists, and scientists who are the backbone of many innovations in our economy. This strategic initiative is a significant step towards addressing the skills shortage in the South African economy, and we are fully committed to this cause. Our focus on bringing coding and programming into our academic programs and in schools is paying dividends. We are seeing how digital technologies are playing a central role in teaching, learning, and research collaborations, and we don't want to be left behind as a University of Technology. Through NEMISA Collab, thousands of youth are being trained in various IT skills at CUT. This partnership is about preparing our students and school children for the future. Since the beginning of last year, 1,369 participants have completed training through the Microsoft Digital Literacy and Data Science 101 programs. The essential knowledge in digital literacy and specialized technology courses They again equips them from the rapidly evolving technological landscape. It is important to mention that CUT was chosen to host one of the 3 hubs of the Artificial Intelligence Institute of South Africa, known as AISA. This is a testament to our commitment to digital innovation and ability to leverage technology for social impact. AISA is a direct result of the Presidential Commission on the 4th Industrial Revolution and is currently under the Department of Communication and Digital Technologies. We are excited to encourage and engage with the department to ensure that the artificial intelligence project is also used to solve teaching and learning challenges in our schools. In closing, Program Director, I hope that as a collective, we achieve the intended outcomes of this Indaba, which will bring practical applications of theories to real-world classroom settings, yielding invaluable insights and inspiring a future of groundbreaking knowledge, research, and technology for our government, universities, and partners. After all, the Indaba remains an essential platform for the government, universities, and partners to work together in building an agile, efficient, and capable government to address our province's education system. On that note, Program Director, I thank you. Ke a leboga, bayatanki.
Thank you very much, Professor Ngidi. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having midday problems too early in the morning. The owner of a white Jeep, HDM 311FS, your door is left open. Don't be misled by the habitat where we are and suggest that nothing will happen to your car if it's left. The door is left open. Secondly, very early in the morning, someone lost their Audi keys. Those keys, I've given them to Mr. Soli Leo because I trust him. And he really committed not to lose my trust. Mr. Soli Leo has got the keys of that vehicle. It's an Audi key. The owner, please contact Mr. Soli Leo. The toilets are at the back. You have been such a wonderful audience since this morning. I've never seen movement. Precisely because we want unfettered access to these screens, because they are going to drive the narrative for this event moving forward. The next speaker, she is the head, political head of the Department of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation. One of their catalytic and flagship program is what we used to call Africa's Pilgrimage of Choice. The Mangaung African Cultural Festival, otherwise known as Makufe, is making a post-COVID resurgence with the theme Back to Our African Heart and Soul. The festival will be actioned and activated from the 3rd to the 7th of September. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to request that the Honorable MEC of the Department of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation, Honorable Zanele Sefuba, to ascend the stage to acknowledge all the wonderful guests that we have. A round of applause for the Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Program Director, Head of Department Education. And thank you for marketing Makufe. Indeed, Makufe is back. That's the flagship program of the province. Good morning, everybody. My job is very short and simple: to acknowledge the guests we have here today. Let me start with the head of the Executive Council, the Premier of the province in absentia, Me Makwin Litsuha Matai. Let me acknowledge the presence of Murena Moda. Let me acknowledge Minister of Basic Education, Ms. Sivue Kwahube, MEC for Education, MEC Mantaike Julia Mabuya, MEC for Public Works and Infrastructure, MEC Dibulelo Manje, MEC for Treasury, Economic Development and Tourism, MEC Magume, District Executive Mayors and local government leadership here in present, Director General of the Department of Basic Education, Mr. Matanzima Mweli, Acting DG in the Office of the Premier, Dr. Mafule Mokalube, the CEO of Umalusi, Dr. Mafu Rakomezi, heads of department in the province, officials from the National Department of Basic Education, officials from the National Education Collaboration Trust, NECT, senior managers from the Free State Department of Education, district education officials, principals, departmental heads and teachers here in present, teacher unions, members of the school governing bodies and principals council, ECD formations and practitioners, partners from private sector and stakeholders of the Department of Education, officials from institutions of higher learning, officials from South African Human Rights Commission, Commission for Gender Equality and the National Youth Development Agency, officials from the South African Human Rights, members of the South African National Council for the Blind and the Organization for the Disabled People of South Africa, the Education Labor Relations Council, our most important assets, Banabaruna from ECD. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Education in this project is an executive council project. That is why you see all these MECs present. It is our fiduciary responsibility to ensure that we give children a fair chance to succeed in life regardless of their personal circumstances. Having said that, I am going to request that we all use the screens or view the screens on our site. We'll play a G20 video which has been organized by our communication services.
South Africa's G20 presidency calls on us to take the G20 to the people, to our classrooms, our teachers, and our communities. In the Free State, we place a high premium on early childhood care and education and on supporting the professional growth of our educators, because the battle for economic justice and social dignity begins in the early years of a child's life. In Mangaung, we begin where it matters most, early childhood, and continue through inclusive, practical learning. Tepa Daycare Center in Bloemfontein. Founded in 2001 under a tent and grown into a trusted ECD center, Tepo builds confidence from 2 years old, nurturing expression, curiosity, and the courage to ask for help. This is the heart of quality foundational learning.
Tabatabelo ya rona e kgolo ke hore re bone bana ba rona ba phutheile ba sa tsamaye diterateng. Re ile ra fumana hore bana ba rona ha ba ka kena dikolo ba se ba le baholo ba ya tshaba ba na le letswalo ha ba kgone ho iketsetsa. Jwanong re rutlella setjhaba sa rona sa rantsho hore bana ba ye di-crashing ba le banyane.
Tweety Bird Preschool in Tabanchu. From one child in 1982 to a thriving inclusive center serving over 140 learners, Tweety Bird welcomes every child, including those with special needs, to a strong start. Early care and education here make equity a daily practice.
We have started in ages ago, that's 43 years ago. Preschools are schools that create better futures. If we have children that get strong foundation, it means we'll have leaders with strong features.
Ngharib District, where creativity and agricultural excellence shape confident learners. Bokebatuta Primary School in Edinburgh. The Talking Walls project turns classrooms into interactive learning spaces. Lessons come alive on the wall, learners role play, engage and participate. It's foundational learning made visible and a model for teacher-led innovation that lifts every child's confidence.
Talking Walls at our school, it just have a very main impact in terms of it is stimulating learners. Now the Talking Walls at our schools, it change and turns our schools into vibrant learning space. Again, it turns our schools into positive learning space. So our learners enjoy our school very much.
Hendrik Potgieter Agricultural School in Reddersburg. For over 160 years, Hendrik Potgieter has grown more than crops. It grows entrepreneurs. With a 100% matric pass rate for 7 consecutive years and hands-on training in wool handling and sheep shearing from as early as grade 4, learners leave with recognized skills and pathways into agribusiness.
I think our school is blessed to be in a position that we can equip learners to make a huge contribution in the agricultural part of South Africa. We don't want to have children that only can go out of grade 12 with a university option, so we are really focusing on the fact that learners must get equipped to start their own businesses.
In Lejoliputswa district, technical learning meets the digital future, and every qualification aims to be recognized beyond the school gate. Lenakeng Technical School in Welkom, with specializations in civil, mechanical and electrical technology, plus coding and robotics, Lenakeng equips learners for the 4th industrial revolution. From carpentry and construction to power systems and electronics, the focus is clear, skills that translate into recognized qualifications and real jobs.
We are so grateful at Lenakeng because we not just teaching our learners academically, but we are giving them the skills. We are saying we prepared, ready, and we are inviting a lot of learners that will definitely have the zeal for moving forward with their technical skills which we can offer as Lenakeng.
Fezile-Dabi District. In Fezile-Dabi, technical mastery and digital integration prepare learners for a changing world and for qualifications that travel. Dr. Klingo Secondary School in Kroonstad. A smart school approach means ICT across teaching and learning. Learners prepare for university-level research. Teachers upskill together, and the whole school embraces technology as a co-teacher. Exactly the spirit of education professional development for a changing world.
Our school has got a CAD lab that helps these learners to be ready when they go out. One, usually when they go to the universities, they've got to do the researches, they've got to do everything. So the computer knowledge is most proper and very important. And our school is doing exactly that to make sure that they prepare these learners for higher education. And for those who would be unfortunate or those who would not be going to the higher institution, at least they have the basis of the computer.
Thabo Mofutanyana District. Here, inclusion in industry-relevant skills open multiple pathways. Maluti Hoogland in Bethlehem. Maluti Hoogland serves learners with mild and severe intellectual disabilities via academic and vocational streams. Woodwork, motor mechanics, welding, food production and beauty provide tangible skills which is proof that equity and excellence go hand in hand.
Maluti staff are passionate, considerate, well-trained educators that aim at making the children's lives easier day after day. To us, it is not important about the academic achievement at the end, but to send a child out into this world knowing that we have given them the tools to cope in the life outside of school.
Voortrekker High School in Bethlehem, a fully equipped hospitality center with an industrial kitchen and 50-seat training restaurant. It's future-ready education delivered locally.
They're busy building an enormous building and with very good facilities for all our learners and the region and the district. It's a classroom, industrial kitchen, and a 50-seater restaurant that will be actually a running restaurant or business.
Together, we are building an education system worthy of our province, our country, and our G20 presidency.
A round of applause. I hope the DG now realizes that success is an inside job. A round of applause for Free State. You see, DG, that all geniuses, they have some touch of madness. And this is what we do. That's what Aristotle said. Ladies and gentlemen, I can front load certain adjectives and certain terms. It will be excellence, it will be quality, it will be super bachelors, it will be social justice, it will be redress, and it will be access. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to call onto the stage, our vanguard, our torchbearer, and a soundboard whenever we are troubled. It gives me great pleasure to call onto the stage the Honorable MEC for the Department of Education in the Free State, Honorable Dr. MJ Maboya, to make her remarks and present the Minister. May we all stand up for the MEC and give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Program Director, let me acknowledge the presence of our Honorable Minister for Basic Education, Ms. Siviwe Gwarube, members of the Executive Council of the Free State Provincial Government who are here, what's happening? Yeah, it's okay. Huh? Yeah, it's okay. Honorable members of the Free State Provincial Legislature who are in our midst, Morena Emuhulu, Morena Muntwedi Mota, other esteemed traditional leaders who are with us today, Professor Dube, the Vice Chancellor of the Central University of Technology, executive mayors and councillors present here today, representatives from the G20 Troika and diplomatic corps, representatives of UNESCO and other multilateral development partners, panelists from various institutions and organizations, the acting DG of the Free State Provincial Government, Dr. Mafule Mukalobe, Director General of the Department of Basic Education, Ntate Matanze Mamweli, HODs who are with us, as well as HOD from the Department of the Free State Department of Education, CEOs of our various entities and the private sector, the chairperson of the Provincial SGB Council, Dates Libeti, representatives from our teacher unions, representatives from our SGBs and various ECD formations, senior government officials, researchers, principals, educators, members of civil society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Program Director, today we are not simply hosting an Indaba, we are making history. I want to begin by taking this opportunity on behalf of the government of the Free State to appreciate the opportunity we have been presented to convene this forum today and to contribute to a global conversation on education within the framework of the G20. This marks a profound moment, not only for our province, but for South Africa as a nation preparing to host the G20 summit in November 2025 under the banner of solidarity, equality, and sustainability. In the spirit of education professionals for solidarity, equality, and sustainability, we have convened diverse national and international stakeholders, including educators, researchers, academics, and community leaders, to address pressing educational challenges. This was done with a view to allowing the voice of the other space and to draw from international experiences solutions that are evidence-based, sustainable, and contextualized in pursuit of the G20 Education Working Group priorities. Program Director, there's no doubt that the two priorities of quality foundational learning and education professionals for a changing world are interdependent, appropriate, and relevant in addressing pressing educational challenges both locally and globally. Of course, the Millennium Development Goals, particularly the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. More importantly, these priorities affirm Africa's place in global leadership by grounding them in Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. On the other hand, The National Development Plan calls for an urgent action for South Africa's education system to improve the quality of its outcomes, whilst the Medium-Term Development Plan 2024 to 2029 prioritizes early childhood development as the foundation for the education system, as well as improvements in reading and mathematics, especially at grade 3 level. These priorities further find strong expression in our sector priorities, namely expanding early childhood development, strengthening foundational literacy and numeracy, advancing inclusive education, improving teacher training, and enhancing school safety and quality environments. Program Director, locally, these priorities resonate quite well with an undertaking we have recently made to the people of the Free State in my inaugural budget vote. We made an undertaking to say that we are not a department of matric. Instead, we are a department of education spanning from early childhood development to grade 12. We are proud to publicly declare as the Free State Department of Education that we have now recalibrated our education agenda to place teacher development, early childhood development, and primary education, in particular literacy, languages, numeracy, mathematics, at the very center of our work. This renewed focus is already being translated into tangible actions through a series of strategic interventions that strengthen the building blocks of foundational learning. These interventions include the recent launch of the mother tongue-based bilingual curriculum, ensuring that young learners acquire literacy and numeracy skills in their own home languages, whilst transitioning effectively to either English or Afrikaans. We have also held the Primary School Summit under the theme, Centering Primary Education, where we united stakeholders to improve foundational teaching, learning, assessment, and inclusion. And this we did to make sure that we bring back primary education from the periphery where it has been, and we really place it at the center where it actually belongs. The Banapile mass registration campaign, which is ongoing, where we are expanding access by ensuring that every child is enrolled in ECD programs and support services. We have also had a number of district literacy extravaganzas and the primary school reading festivals, cultivating a strong reading culture and developing language proficiency from the earliest years. The Bella Act campaigns and roadshows were also meant to strengthen foundational learning, engaging communities and school stakeholders on the new education legislation to create alignment, awareness, and ownership of commitment and coordinated support if we are to move the needle in the short run. Together, these initiatives, amongst others, reflect a deliberate shift towards building a robust early learning ecosystem, one that addresses systemic gaps, supports teachers, empowers parents, and gives every child the best possible start in life. Program Director, we are amongst the poorest provinces in the country. We are amongst the provinces with the highest rate of unemployment. And also, we are a province with the highest prevalence of disability. I think we are standing at 11-point-something%, when the average of disability prevalence in the country is around 5 to 6%. For this reason, we fully understand the role of education in reducing youth unemployment, eliminating poverty, and ending generational hunger. For us, investing unapologetically in our people through quality education, starting from birth, is a moral obligation. We in the Free State understand that the battle for economic justice and social dignity begins in the early years of a child's life. We are fully aware that the world is currently confronting a deep learning crisis, and that scholarship on foundational learning underscores the urgency of our focus on early learning and teacher quality. For instance, the World Bank and the Center for Early Childhood Development argue in their recent research studies that foundational learning, encompassing basic literacy, numeracy, and transferable skills, is the backdrop of a child's education. And yet, in many low and middle income countries, far too many children are not gaining these skills. This global reality is exactly why early childhood care and teacher development must remain at the center of our agenda. Our choice as the Free State of the two sub-themes was mainly informed by international benchmarking studies, which show that about 81% of grade 4 learners in South Africa cannot read for meaning in their mother tongue. This is not just a reading crisis, ladies and gentlemen, it is a learning crisis. The entire learning trajectory is disrupted by this anomaly. We are further informed by the fact that while our province continues to perform well in the National Senior Certificate, deep-rooted systemic challenges remain. Amongst them are the low enrollment of our learners in the Free State in what we call gateway subjects, our STEM subjects, your science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We're also experiencing the low throughput rate and the low distinction rate at this level. And surely we have to do something as the Free State to correct the situation. As part of our high-aimed interventions, the province will be monitoring the reading proficiency levels of learners in grade 1 to 7. In this context, the Free State will be the first province in the country to report on these levels twice a year, in June and in December. Each learner will receive 2 reports, the standard academic report based on subject performance and an additional report on reading proficiency levels. Can you give the Free State a big round of applause? This initiative is designed to advance the medium-term development plan target of ensuring that all 10-year-olds can read for meaning. Just as we would not build a house without a solid foundation, we cannot expect a child to thrive academically and in life without solid foundational skills. Studies have shown that today, across most of the developing world, these foundations of learning are not strong enough. This has created what we call learning poverty that needs to be urgently reduced, precisely because these foundational skills unlock the opportunities that follow. So we really have to work very hard to make sure that we roll back this learning poverty. We must all agree at this Indaba that delivering quality education early for all will be the most sustainable solution to ensuring quality foundational learning for all through a capable and well-skilled ECD workforce. We are grateful that South Africa, as the current G20 presidency, is committed to locating ECD and teacher development at the heart of our efforts to improve the quality of our educational outcomes. We strongly believe that as a collective, it is possible to see tangible improvements in learning within a matter of years, even at the height of significant economic constraints. For example, Sobral, one of the poorest municipalities in Brazil, rose to become one of the country's top performing areas and has also become a lesson for education systems in the Global South. That is what is reported by the Center for Global Development. We can go and learn a lot from Brazil, especially from this municipality, in terms of how they were able to turn the corner. This kind of result is possible only when leadership truly commits to improving educational outcomes and the leadership is willing to adapt its approach based on feedback and evidence, like the one that we might draw from Brazil and many other countries, of course. It shows what is possible when there is a real intentionality, focus, and commitment from leadership and amongst all stakeholders to reach all children and ensure they gain the basics that they are supposed to gain. This aligns with global evidence which shows that we must fix our eyes on foundational learning and invest early and at scale. And doing so requires attention to the learners themselves, to teachers, to learning resources, to schools, and to system management. These are the interrelated pillars that research and international practice identify as essential to accelerate learning at scale. In closing these gaps, ECCE, Early Childhood Care and Education, is the earliest and most effective intervention to change this trajectory. Global research confirms that 90% of brain development happens before the age of 5. If we act decisively in this window, we can lay the cognitive, social, and emotional foundations that make literacy, numeracy, and lifelong learning possible. Indeed, Program Director, despite significant strides we have made, we appreciate that the early childhood care and education sector remains characterized by key systemic challenges, and amongst them, we know that around 78% of ECD practitioners lack appropriate preschool level qualifications, and 23% have no training whatsoever. There's an echo, I don't know, there's a problem. There's a problem with the mic? One of the challenges is around the quality of early teaching, which remains uneven, especially in under-resourced and rural settings, with fragile infrastructure and limited pedagogical support. Another challenge is that many educators lack the skills needed to nurture early literacy and numeracy, given insufficient pre-service training and support. The other big one is the lack of support from parents who remain the primary educators of these children at this age. International experience demonstrates that successful at-scale programs are those which strengthen existing structures, provide platforms for continuous teacher learning, and use a test, adapt, and scale approach so that interventions are locally appropriate and effective. We must combine evidence-based approaches with political commitment and coordinated support if we are to move the needle in the short run. We must therefore ask ourselves difficult but necessary questions. What does it mean to build ECCE systems that do more than babysit? How do we empower parents to parent with assurance? How do we empower young women who are the backbone of this sector to not only survive, but to thrive as owners, educators, and innovators? How can municipalities unlock access to land and infrastructure to support the establishment of quality ECD centers in every ward? These questions demand answers, and this Indaba is where we begin to respond to these questions. Equally, the G20 Working Group on Education reminds us that without continuous professional development, teachers struggle to adapt to changing curricula, integrate technology meaningfully, or differentiate learning to meet diverse needs of our learners. Indeed, Program Director, the heart of education at every level is the teacher. We must ask ourselves, are we truly supporting our educators, not only in terms of salaries, but in terms of dignity, continuous learning, and emotional well-being? Do they have the digital tools and pedagogical skills needed for the fourth industrial revolution? Are we capacitating them to integrate artificial intelligence meaningfully, not as a threat, but as a core teacher enhancing learning outcomes for every learner? Our view is that without capacitated teachers, without support systems, without the community and private sector on board, technology will remain a decorative accessory rather than a catalyst for transformation. Today, this G20 Indaba challenges us to think beyond sectors, beyond departments, beyond silos in order to improve the quality of teaching and learning outcomes in a more sustainable way. The World Bank and partners have emphasized that political commitment, coordinated support, and country-led action are central to sustaining progress on foundational learning. As we mobilize partners here in the Free State, we must be equally committed to measurable targets, accountability, and scaling what works locally. Let us seize this historic moment to ensure that we develop the ability to be free agents of a development agenda. An agenda that will advance our battle against poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Program Director, allow me to close by echoing the call by President Ramaphosa when he said, I quote, "Our presidency of the G20 must be defined by our commitment to people, to planet, and to prosperity. It must reflect the values of Ubuntu, our belief in a shared humanity," close quote. Let me take this opportunity at this point to wish you a productive Indaba that will shape the education landscape not only in the Free State, but in our beautiful country. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to take this opportunity to invite to the podium our Honorable Minister, Minister Siviwe Kwahube, to come and address us. Minister, please talk to us. We are in your hands.
Thank you very much, MEC, and thank you, everybody. A very good morning. Program Director, the MSc for Education, Dr. Maboya, and also her colleagues from the provincial cabinet. I think in all the G20 summits around the provinces that I've seen, I'm yet to see such a strong support from the other colleagues from the provincial cabinet. And so thank you for lending her your support in this regard. Our officials, distinguished guests, and colleagues and partners, a very good morning. It is good to be in the Free State. Dumelang, Likai, I hope you are well. Thank you very much for welcoming me to the G20 Free State Provincial Indaba. It is indeed a privilege to join you here today at the heart of our country, in a province that has been long proud contributor to South Africa's education story. We meet, as the MEC said, and I remember sitting there thinking to myself, well, the MEC must then be an ambassador of our strategic reorientation of the education system, because she articulates it extremely well about why we need to focus on the foundations of learning. And so we meet at an extraordinary moment as the G20 president for 2025. South Africa has pledged to take the G20 to the people, and I think it's incredibly important to understand that this is not just a slogan. It is a commitment to ensuring that the ideas, the policies, the priorities that shape us globally are informed by the very lived realities of our people. It's important that these global ideas are not only just borrowed from the rest of the world, but they actually emanate from the people of South Africa, and they emanate indeed from the people of the Free State. And I think that is the wisdom of bringing the G20 to the people. And so our gathering is purposeful. It is about ensuring that global debates about education are not just abstract, but they are connected to classrooms in Tabanju, the early child centers in Qwaqwa, the high schools here in Mangaung, and rural schools stretching across the province. These debates that we're going to be having and the discussions we're going to be having here today have to be informed by the lived reality of the people who are in these settings. The G20 education priorities speak directly to our challenges and our opportunities. One, the quality of foundational learning, because if we do not get the basics right, we undermine each and every other reform. Number two, professional development for a changing world, because if teachers are not prepared for classrooms shaped by artificial intelligence, climate change, migration, and economic uncertainty, then we are not going to get the kind of outcomes that we need. Colleagues, I want to tell you a story about the reason why I think that it's so incredibly important that this strategic reorientation that we've undertaken takes root in South Africa. I want to tell you a story about two 10-year-olds in the country. Two different 10-year-olds who will take the exact same test when they turn 10. The one 10-year-old grows up where they are read to at home. They play with educational toys. They use puzzles. They go to a very well-fitted, stocked and well-run ECD center. They are there and start to be taught from 0 to 5 years old. By the time they turn 5, they are thriving. They get to grade R, they are doing very well. They get to grade 1, they already can read and read for meaning. And they go through foundation phase and they get to grade 4. There's then a second 10-year-old in South Africa, one who comes from perhaps a rural part of this province, who doesn't go to an ECD center, who's not read to at home, and perhaps there isn't a reading culture at home, and who doesn't attend an ECD center, or if they do, they go to an ECD center that is run by a community member who looks after children in the area. And so they sleep and they play all day. There isn't any education material or there aren't any really trained practitioners at this creche. They get to grade R, they are fine. They get to grade 1, and it is only in grade 1 that they are interacting with a book for the first time. A book in any language. They're interacting with a book for the very first time when they turn 7. And so cognitively, they are behind in grade 1, in grade 2, in grade 3, and they get to grade 4. Both of these two 10-year-old colleagues take the same international benchmarking test in South Africa. And then it is then said that 8 out of 10 children in South Africa cannot read for meaning in any language. As the MEC has said, that is not just a literacy crisis, that's an education crisis. But you see, the problem, and for me, the biggest injustice about these two 10-year-olds is that the second 10-year-old is not any more capable than the first one. The second 10-year-old has been held back because they have not been given an opportunity to be able to cognitively develop, to be able to read and read for meaning, and have access to quality foundations of learning. And had they been given that opportunity, these two 10-year-olds will have the same kind of access and the same kind of outcomes. And that, in my view, is the kind of injustice we need to fix as a country. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the deep unfortunate fact is that there are more of the second 10-year-old in South Africa than the first. And so then it becomes a moral imperative to say, how do we strengthen the foundations of learning? And that, for me, is the great opportunity of this G20 presidency for us. We can be only not just a voice on the continent about how we are championing the foundations of learning, but we can be a credible voice in the global south about what it is to turn a system on its head and truly prioritize the foundations of learning. And so this is why, as the MEC was talking about bringing the primary school education from the peripheries to the center is incredibly important. Because it's high time that we stop fiddling with the ends of the education system when children are leaving the education system, but we're letting them down right at the beginning when they enter the schooling system. We have to make sure that they are supported. High-performing systems around the world inspire us. These are Finland, for instance, where every teacher holds a master's degree. In Singapore, where universities and government work hand in hand to define what excellence looks like. But none of these models can truly be simply copied or transplanted in South Africa. We must design a South African and indeed a Free State model that is rooted in our realities, enriched by global practice and driven by the vision for transformation. And that is why I'm saying that this G20 presidency has to be one that we not only take a look at, but we internalize. And we say, how do we become a voice that says, here's a country at the bottom of the African continent, but that made the right noises, that says these are the things that we're going to do to improve our education system, because we want to make sure that our learners and our children become globally competitive one day. And I have no doubt in my mind that we can be able to leverage this. And so our challenge and opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, lies in partnerships. For too long, government, universities, communities have worked alongside each other, but not always in full alignment. And I believe that that must change. We need to have a shared stewardship of the education system where accountability is reciprocal and leadership is collective. In the Free State, I think that means 6 things that we ought to be doing. 1, policy alignment and responsiveness. We need ongoing engagements between the Department of Basic Education, the Provincial Department, and higher education institutions right here in the Free State. We are gathered here in institutions of higher learning, and when we're talking about teacher development, it is VC, it is these kind of institutions that can assist us create the pipeline of the kind of professionals that we need, that will staff our classrooms and really prepare the next generation of learners. Teacher supply and demand, it's important that we do the work of making sure that the supply of teachers is very much linked to the demand in the system. If we're saying we are focusing on the foundation phase, then we need to make sure that teachers who are either are grade R practitioners are upskilled so that they can have a B.Ed and they can be recognized as full educators in our system. We need to make sure that ECD practitioners are also upskilled so that they can be qualified and offer a fully fledged curriculum program in our ECDs across the country. But we can't do that without the assistance and the partnerships of universities and institutions of higher learning. We need to make sure that the teaching practice is at the heart of preparation. Together, we can ensure that student teachers are placed in schools that give them the right exposure and the right mentoring. Whether it's in townships in Mangaung or farming communities in the Harib district. We have to make sure that there's seamless transition from the graduate to the classroom. It must be smooth. We have to support our teachers who have had initial teacher training. Are we giving them the kind of support they need from the lecture hall into the classroom? Because ultimately, that bridge needs to be, make sure that we gap that. And then, of course, we must gather, as Department of Education, we gather valuable data, but it is our universities, VCs, that have the expertise to interrogate it and make sense of it. And that's why I'm saying this key relationship between not just communities, universities, and the Department of Education need to make sure that it is well aligned and that we're working well together. If we commit to these actions, ladies and gentlemen, we will align teacher training with national and provincial priorities. We will treat teacher development as a lifelong journey. We will close the gap between oversupply in some subjects and shortages in others. And we will make sure that we, as colleagues in this G20, we are making transformative leadership. In education, that leadership begins with us, right here in the province like the Western Cape, the Free State. And so, this Indaba, ladies and gentlemen, must not be remembered just from the speeches that are done here, but for the partnerships that it builds and the commitments that it inspires. Let's strengthen the compact between the DBE, the Free State Department of Education, our universities, and our communities. And I implore you, as you are having these discussions today, that we take a deep look at the two realities that I painted for you earlier. The realities of the two 10-year-olds. What actions are we going to take today that are going to make sure that that one 10-year-old has a similar and also a similar outcome in life than the other? Because we can't leave 80% of 10-year-olds behind. If we do that, we are repeating an injustice of the past. I don't know about you, but I want to be part of the generation that stems that. I want to be part of a generation of leaders that says we are not going to continuously perpetuate inequality by offering subpar education to our children. But those conversations start here, and they can only find expression in classrooms when we as leaders in this room start to make those commitments together. And so I implore you and I wish you well for the engagements that you'll be having today. And I trust that we will be able to transplant the ideas that we have in this South African G20 deep into our classrooms, empowering our teachers, and indeed improving the lot and the future of the two 10-year-olds. Thank you very much.
A big Free State applause for the minister. It sounds different, DG. It sounds different. It's a Free State applause. Thank you very much. At this stage, I'm going to request that the Tsepo Daycare VIPs be ushered to the stage. Where are my kids? The Tsepo Daycare ECD Center. Yeah.
Hiya, Bobby. You want to go for a ride?
Sure can.
Jump in.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation. I'm a flying girl in the fantasy world. Dress me up, make it tight. I'm your dolly.
You're my doll, rock and roll. Feel the glamour and pink. Kiss me here, touch me there. Hanky panky.
You can touch, you can play.
Featuring Shabba.
Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. All night. Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. Shabba, move us up. Tout le monde qui bouge, bouge. Tout le monde qui danse, bouge. Tout le monde qui chante, bouge. Pour le bouger, pour le bouger. Tout le monde qui bouge, bouge. Tout le monde qui danse, bouge. Tout le monde qui chante, bouge. Pour le bouger, pour le bouger. Get into the groove and move your body. If you feel alone, just grab somebody. You wanna whine, say you wanna grind. Let the rhythm take you home. Ride it like you do the rodeo. When it takes you, let it go. Around the world, people dancing Zumba. Oh. Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. All night. Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. Shabba, move us up, I said dance like a shot. Drop, drop. Make it move the area. I said boom, 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 boom. To the left side, to the right side. I said dance like a shot. Drop, drop. Make it move the area. I said boom, 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 boom. To the left side, to the right side. Zumba, zumba, yeah, zumba, yeah, zumba, yeah. 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 Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. All night. Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. Shabba, move us up. Tout le monde qui bouge, bouge. Tout le monde qui danse, bouge. Tout le monde qui chante, bouge. Pour le bouger, pour le bouger. People in LA, everybody in Brazil, people in Africa, pour le bouger, pour bouger. Let me see you boogie, boogie, zumba, boogie, roll. Boogie, bala, boogie, boogie, fais-moi boogie, roll. Let me see you boogie, boogie, zumba, boogie, roll. Boogie, bala, boogie, boogie, fais-moi boogie, roll. Tout le monde qui bouge, tout le monde qui danse, tout le monde qui chante, pour le bouger, pour le bouger. Everybody in Dubai, people in Colombia, everybody in the world, pour le bouger, il faut bouger. I want you to lose control. That's right, let's rock and roll. Bring it down and down to the flow. On your mark, get set, ready, go, ready, go, ready, go, ready, go, ready, go, ready, go, 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 let's go. Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. Everybody dance and bouge, bouge. Put your hands up, souke, souke. Shake your hips and hule, hule, oh. Ha! Let me see you boogie, boogie, zumba, boogie, roll. Boogie, bala, boogie, boogie, fais-moi boogie, roll. Let me see you boogie, boogie, zumba, boogie, roll. Boogie, bala, boogie, boogie, fais-moi boogie, roll.
fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation. I'm a blonde bimbo girl in the fantasy world. Dress me up, make it tight, I'm your dolly.
You're my doll, rock and roll. Feel the glamour and pink. Kiss me here, touch me there, hanky panky.
You can touch, you can play.
A round of applause for these beautiful souls. Yeah. As much as they were dancing and we really liked their performance, it has got pedagogical and artistic value. A child who cannot dance or move to particular drills lacks motor control. A child who cannot sculpt or draw, superimpose something big on an A4 page lacks what we call spatial acuity. A child who cannot recite poetry has got poor memory. So these things are not play. They are intentional and they are aimed at ensuring that we inculcate pedagogical tendencies in learners at this age. So learning through play and through these drills brings the best out of our learners. A round of applause once more for them. Now, we are going to have a short break, but please don't move before I'm done. We've got stations. We are going to have some refreshments. Please look at a card like this on your table. And then look at the writing below. It directs you to where you should go to have your refreshments. On the table, now I'm going to label the stations for you. And only my labeling is correct, not yours, because of the privilege of being a program director. But as you pass, please don't, you must look at that gentleman to my extreme right. His name is Robert. You see Robert is drawing a picture. He will piece it together. At the end of the session, suddenly it will make sense. So I'm asking that you also take heed of what he's doing there, and he'll be able to explain why the picture and what each part or each component mean. So look at me now for the stations, because now you have read at the bottom of your card on each table. This is just meant for, it's not traffic control, it's crowd control. That is table number 1. That is table number 2. That is table number 3. That is station number 4. Why didn't we listen to the table? And then that is station number 5. In a very orderly and professional manner, we can move. We only have got 25 minutes. 25 minutes. I'm expecting that by 10 past 11. Yes, 10 past 11, we are back. But after you have eaten, take the liberty to move outside and visit the stalls that you have created. They were for your appreciation. And remember, as we do all this business today, we are on social media platforms, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook. And the Honorable Minister would not be with us for the next session. There is an arrangement where she has got an activation at one of our ECDs in the township. It's part of this program as it is. Mr. Moloi will actually accompany the minister. That was the end of the first session, or the first phase of the session. A new program director will come when we come back at 11:10. That is Ms. Gloria Nkosi for the panel discussions. Thank you very much. You have been such a wonderful audience. Communications, please follow the minister and the MECs for the photo sessions. There will be a photo session. Communications, please take over that process. Thank you very much.
two. Hanyane fela. Two.
etsahala jwang.